Hello and welcome back to the Big Lad podcast. It's just me today, a solo episode, and I want to take you on a journey into the unseen architecture of belief. That phrase, architecture of belief, might sound a little lofty, a little abstract, but by the end of this conversation, I hope you'll see just how real it is, how influential, and how malleable your own beliefs truly are. Beliefs are the lenses through which we perceive everything: our identity, relationships, opportunities, failures, success, and meaning. But the catch is, much of our belief structure is hidden. We don't always see the foundation under the floorboards. We carry assumptions inherited from culture, family, education, media, and even random life events. These silent assumptions shape what we pay attention to, how we react, and what we deem possible or impossible. In thinking about this episode, I wanted to approach it not as a lecture, but as a conversation with you. An invitation to explore, question, and perhaps surface a belief you didn't know you held. Throughout, I'll share some ideas, stories, quotes, and at the end, I'll invite you to do a mini exercise to spot one hidden assumption in your life. So, let's begin by defining what I mean by belief architecture. When I say architecture of belief, I'm invoking a metaphor. Imagine your mind as a building. On the walls, you see paintings, furniture, everyday objects. These are explicit beliefs, what you consciously think, claim, or assert. But below the surface, deep in the foundation and structural beams, are assumptions, supports, wiring, plumbing, the implicit, the things you probably don't inspect often, if ever. An explicit belief is something that you can easily state. I believe that honesty is important. An implicit assumption might be, if I show vulnerability, people will judge me negatively, or I must always perform to be worthy. You might never stop to examine that assumption. You can just play out automatically. Where do these hidden assumptions come from? They come from early conditioning, parents, schooling, formative experiences, culture, and society, norms, media, narratives, power structures, authority and social proof, the voices you trusted, trauma, pain, coping strategies, language itself, the words available influence thought, selective attention, you notice what aligns with your worldview. Once planted, they grow roots. Over time, they shape what you pay attention to which possibilities you see and which you ignore. They influence how you feel, act, interpret. Importantly, beliefs are not neutral. They're loaded with emotion, value, identity. Changing a belief feels like you're losing a piece of yourself. It can feel dangerous, destabilizing. But before we get to change, let's see how beliefs operate intimately in perception, emotion, and action. Imagine two people watching the same event, a job rejection. Person A believes I'm not good enough. Person B believes this is feedback, not condemnation. They experience radically different emotional reactions, and their next move will be different. One sinks into shame and inertia, the other analyzes, recovers, and moves forward. Beliefs are filters, they cause confirmation bias. We pay attention to evidence that affirms our beliefs and dismiss what contradicts them. If you believe the world is dangerous, you'll notice every threat and ignore safety signals. If you believe you're unlovable, you'll register every comment and shrug off every compliment. Beliefs affect self-fulfilling prophecy. You behave in line with beliefs, which provoke responses from others, which seem to confirm your belief. The loop reinforces itself. Beliefs influence emotional baseline, your default mood, how easily you tip into anxiety, defensiveness, joy, or confidence. Beliefs shape choices and actions. What you think possible becomes a boundary for what you attempt. A belief like, I can't speak in public, restricts you from trying, from growing. Beliefs also mediate resilience. If I believe failures are opportunities, I bounce back. If I believe failure equals personal worthlessness, I collapse. In short, beliefs are not passive. They animate your life's trajectory. Because beliefs are often invisible, the constraints go unnoticed. You might think, that's just me, or that's just how the world is, never realizing how belief shaped it. Here's some belief traps. The impossible boundary belief, that kind of success is only for others. The identity belief, I'm lazy, I'm not creative, I'm too introverted. The norm belief, I must follow the conventional route or I'll fail socially. The moral belief, selfishness is bad, which stops you from investing in yourself. The predictive belief, if I try, I'll fail, or if I express myself, I'll be rejected. These beliefs feel like facts, not assumptions. They're strongest because we seldom question them. We call them reality. They erect invisible ceilings, belief ceilings, that limit our potential. When you try to break out, internal resistance shows up. You might experience fear, guilt, identity crisis, confusion. That's the system defending itself. Chris Williamson often emphasizes flexibility in your approach is just as important as discipline. In the same spirit, I'd argue flexibility in your beliefs is as critical as conviction. Now, how do we bring those hidden beliefs into light? Here are the 8 strategies to expose, test, and possibly revise beliefs. Use what resonates, adapt to your style. Number 1, radical curiosity and self-inquiry. Ask, why do I believe this? What evidence do I have? What would I believe if this weren't so? Ask as if you're a detective. Journal your inner monologues and challenge them. Number 2, Socratic questioning, belief experiments. Take a belief and test it. For example, your belief might be, I can't lead. So your experiment can be to lead a small project. Observe the outcomes, disconfirm or refine the belief. Number 3, exposure to disconfirming evidence. Deliberately seek perspectives or data that contradict your belief. Read books, talk to people who hold alternative views. Be careful though, don't do this when you're emotionally fragile. You'll just reinforce defensive selection. Number 4, perspective shifts and zoom out. Zoom out in time, space, other identities. What would you believe looking back in 10 years? What would a 10-year-old you believe? What about you as an alien observer? These shifts loosen mental gravity. Number 5, reframing and narrative reframing. Write new stories, recast setbacks as training, reinterpret difficult events from a generous, curious perspective. Number 6, rituals and embodiment. Sometimes belief change needs more than cognition. It needs felt experience. Rituals, affirmations, embodied movement, role-play help anchor new beliefs. Number 7, incremental belief adoption. You don't need to flip overnight. If I believe in a weaker version, maybe I can lead small efforts. See if you feel less stuck. Grow the belief gradually. And number 8, community and accountability. Share with trusted others. Talk through beliefs in conversation. Others hold mirrors up, but be wary. Communities also reinforce beliefs, so choose wisely. But do this with caution, as it can lead to identity destabilization. When you change a core belief, part of your identity may feel shaken, and that's normal. Don't force too much too fast. Be gentle. You may grieve aspects of your old self. Grow into your new self gradually. I want to share a belief I held unconsciously for many years and how challenging it shifted things. For much of my life, I carried an assumption. If I don't stay busy, I'm worthless. It wasn't a belief I consciously decided. It was hidden in the architecture built across schooling, early work, praise for productivity. I equated rest with laziness, quiet with failure, and downtime with guilt. So my life rhythm became a constant motion. Work, side hustles, planning, making, achieving. Rest felt dangerous, guilty, unproductive. I believed deep down that any moment of idleness was a moral failure. Although rest is as important as actually doing the work, and something that I've preached for years, this belief shaped every decision and ultimately led to burnout, overworking, anxiety, difficulty relaxing, constantly chasing external validation. And over time, I got cracks in that structure. I hit burnout, relationships suffered, my energy flagged. I had to ask, is this belief serving me? I experimented, rest with permission, doing nothing, slow in pace. I exposed myself to voices that valued rest, poets, philosophers, and wellness thinkers. Something shifted. I began to see rest not as weakness, but as regeneration, an essential component. I reframed rest as fuel, not failure. Over months, I tweaked my schedule, prioritized recovery, and set boundaries. Now that belief doesn't have tyranny over me. I still fight it sometimes, but I carry a counter belief. I am worthy even when I rest. That shift changed how I schedule, what I prioritize, and how I respond to stress. It changed my relationship to time, productivity, and self-worth. I share this because I believe virtually everyone carries at least one powerful hidden belief, and shifting it can have a ripple effect across your life. Before I wrap up, I want to invite you, yes you, the listener, to try a short experiment. Grab a pen and paper, or your phone, and do this now. First of all, think of one area in your life where you feel stuck. Relationship, career, health, creativity. And then ask, what belief might be underlying this stuckness? Write down the first thing that comes to mind. For example, I'm not worthy, I'm not creative, I can't make money doing what I love. And then now ask, why do I believe that? Write 3 possible sources: childhood, culture, voices, experiences. Let the surface show. Now ask, what could another belief, a more generous, more expansive one, that might also fit. For example, I'm worthy even when I struggle. I can grow my creativity. I can make value and be compensated. And pick one small experiment to test that new belief. For example, express yourself vulnerably, post a piece of work, rest deeply, take a small risk outside your comfort zone. You don't need proof immediately. Just collect data, be curious, record what happens, how you feel, what resistance comes. Over the days and weeks, you may find that the old belief loses grip and that the new belief begins to support you. That's belief revision in motion. So there it is, a tour through the unseen architecture of belief. We've looked at what belief architecture is, how beliefs influence our experience, how they constrain us invisibly, and how we might begin to surface them and reshape them. If there's one last piece of wisdom I want to leave you with, it's this. You're more flexible, more porous, more adaptive than you imagine. These beliefs you carry are not fixed bricks. They're clay, built, sustained, and reinforced. And with curiosity and courage, you can begin to remodel walls. To borrow a variation of a quote, your beliefs become your destiny. If that is true, then redesigning your beliefs mean redesigning your life from the inside out. I want to close with a quote that resonated for me. We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. It's a reminder that much of what we take as objective reality is tinted by our own internal world. Change the tint and change what you want to see. Thank you for listening. If this episode stirred something, I'd love to hear your reflections. Share with me one hidden assumption that you surfaced, one experiment that you plan to try. Let's grow together. Until next time, stay curious, stay honest, and build better inner architectures. This is a Big Lab podcast, and I'm your host. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.